I'm Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector Podcast, and I am joined on location at the AIM BC Roundup by Bart Jaworski of Group 11 Resources. Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks very much, Mike.
So you're a new company, or at least a new to us company. So let's start this off by explaining to everybody what Group 11 Resources is.
Well, thanks, Michael. Group 11 has made the most significant discovery in Ireland in the last decade, and we've been able to attract Glencore and Michael Gentile as the number one and number two shareholders in the company, and also as directors of the company. So we actually have quite an interesting and unique situation with Glencore in that we're next door neighbors. It's a bit of a trifecta. So we're next door neighbors to each other. They are our largest shareholders, and they also sit on our board. So that's quite unique. And the big news for us recently is that Michael Gentile actually, after having been a major shareholder of ours for the last 4 years or so, has now joined the board as well.
Outstanding. That's a pretty impressive lineup of board members.
Mm-hmm.
When people think of mining jurisdictions, so even though Ireland's been an historic mining district, they don't think Ireland. Why did you guys choose Ireland as where to go explore?
Well, look, Ireland has had a 60-year modern mining history. There's been 6 prospects that ended up being discoveries that actually have been put into production there. And the key differentiator there is that there's infrastructure. So not only do we have world-class rocks, it is a world-class jurisdiction, but on top of that, you have infrastructure, very good infrastructure. And on top of that, you have stable politics with a very good mining code that the Fraser Institute recognizes as being, the top 10 every year of the Fraser Institute. We get ranked very well on that. So I think we have all those 3 layers in practice, and that's why the majors are there. Glencore, Boliden, Teck, South 32, Lundin was there, mining Galmoy, Vedanta was there, mining Lachine. So you have all that as a backdrop. And the reason why I'm personally there is more because my wife is Irish, and I ended up being a mining analyst over there a number of years ago. I've been living in Ireland as a Canadian, and now I've been living in Ireland for 13 years. I started Group 11 with David Furlong and another Irish geo about 9 years ago. And it took us about 7 years to make this discovery. So that's how we ended up being over there.
Yeah. As I say, you're new to us, but you're not a new company. But you are a company that has been kind of flying under everybody's radar.
More or less, yeah.
And getting an awful lot done. Like when we first met at New Orleans at the investment conference there, I was stunned by about the amount of work that you guys have accomplished. So let's bring everybody up to speed with what you're looking for and what you found to date.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, it took us 7 years, about 100 drill holes and about $20 million to make the discovery. We kind of started from scratch. We started from scratch in 2015. We staked up half the country. We had the largest land position out of anyone, including Glencore, Teck, Boliden, everyone. And then we started to simmer it down, and we started to get a lot of joy in the Limerick area. And lo and behold, then, like I said, 7 years later, we made a discovery hole, and it was a 60-meter zone of mineralization on our 100th hole roughly since inception. And it had 10 meters at 10% with 100 grams silver in it. And now we know there's also germanium in there as well, because we re-assayed the pulps using lithium borate fusion. And lo and behold, we don't have any gallium or indium, but we have a lot of germanium. And germanium is actually the metal you want. It's worth about 2.5 times that of silver. So we have a suite of metals that are very interesting. Obviously, zinc is very interesting. Lead is in there. We're punching way above our weight for the typical zinc, Irish zinc deposit, in that we're getting 50 to 150 grams per ton silver consistently over 2.6 kilometers. So it's very, very interesting in that regard. And then we have germanium in there as well to boot, between 10 and 70 to maybe even 80 grams per ton or so, which is as high as it gets. If you look at Capucci, for example, which the U.S. Geological Survey points to as one of the best sort of germanium zinc deposits out there, germanium is running roughly 64 grams per ton. So we're kind of in that ballpark. So it's nice to have the germanium in there, but really the silver is by far the highest out of seemingly the zinc deposits discovered to date in Ireland.
Okay. I noticed that through all that discussion, you never once mentioned gold, which when people think about Ireland, it's always the leprechauns and the pot of gold
and the rainbow
and everything. Although I did find amusing because I do find a lot of joy in Limerick as well. But that's, that may be more to me. But with the mining historically it's done in Ireland, it's more zinc deposits. It's not really gold deposits, is it?
In the Republic is zinc country. There's a little bit in the Wicklow, the gold in the Wicklow area, but maybe a little bit in the Galway area, but nothing really of substantive. The gold in modern day times would be in the north. Northern Ireland has gold deposits. 2 projects there active. One trying to get into production. One is in production. I think going underground, as far as I know. So there is some gold, certainly some really interesting gold prospects up north. And there's a company also called Conroy working on the island, just kind of spanning the north and the Republic. But by and large, in the Republic itself, it's zinc country. It's always been zinc country for the last 60 years. There's some silver deposits there as well. There's a bit of copper that's known in the southern part of the Republic as well. But in the last 60 years, it's really been the zinc deposits that have become world class and recognized as being world class. For example, just throw this one in there for you, Michael. Boliden's Tara deposit is about 140 million tons at 10% zinc and lead. That makes it one of the biggest zinc deposits in the world. Been mined for 50 years and still going. It's still got another 30 million tons of around 9% left, and probably a lot more exploration upside yet to go. So there's a whole other chapter of mining yet to go there.
Perfect. Now we're going to move ourselves forward to just this past year. You guys did a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You did find the germanium, which if I remember correctly, you said that was a bit of a surprise to you guys, but a pleasant one.
Yep.
So what work was done in 2024 and what did you learn from that particular work?
Yeah, we drilled about 8,000 meters this year. This was the highest amount of drilling we've ever done since the company began. So we are very happy with that. We were running 2 rigs pretty much from the beginning of January to December all last year. We were able to make some huge gutsy step outs from our discovery area. We stepped out 930 meters and 530 meters, ended up hitting on both areas, finding a lot more massive sulfide. And some of the most recent news releases we've had, we've actually demonstrated very rich, flat-lying, massive sulfide bodies that are actually getting shallower and shallower. This discovery, by the way, is only like 350 meters to 200 meters in terms of depth. And the further we go to the northeast, the shallower it gets. So it's a very, very interesting system. And we've got a 6-kilometer long trend. So what we've been able to surmise is the geophysics is telling us there's 4 gravity high anomalies within the Walsrosian limestone, which is the target horizon, along 6 kilometers. And the discovery's only been made on 1 of the 4 gravity high anomalies. So we've got 3 more to test along that 6-kilometer trend. We only have about 2.6 kilometers that we've had drilled intercepts of robust mineralization on. So there's a lot more work for us to spread our wings. And the work we've done last year was really demonstrating that, coming out with some gangbuster grades. And I'll leave it with this one. The best massive sulfide intercept we ever got was our last press release in November, where we got 8.7 meters of roughly 24% zinc lead and just under 100 grams per ton silver. So it was a phenomenal hit, continuous massive sulfide for 8.7 meters. It was a real gem. That's exactly what, if you look at Lachine Galmoy just up the road from us along the Rathdowney Trend, that's basically what those guys were hitting.
That's perfect. And those are the types of hits that you want because they're a lot easier to mine than the narrower veins are.
Yeah, this is relatively flat lying. It's going to be room and pillar mining. That's what Ireland is. It's room and pillar mining. If it's shallower, the better, obviously, and then it can go all the way down to a kilometer deep. The new discovery at Tara, for example, that I was mentioning there, is starting at 1.5 kilometers deep, roughly. So things are getting quite interesting in Ireland from that perspective.
Outstanding. Now, given all the work that's been done to date, we're heading into 2025.
Mm-hmm.
What is the plan for 2025? What is it that you want to accomplish, and how does that extend the knowledge you already have acquired?
Yeah, so I'd like to. We hit the ground running at the beginning of the year with 2 rigs. We hope to continue that for the remainder of the year. So at least 8,000 more meters of drilling this year. Maybe flex upwards a little bit, maybe with a 3rd rig, depending how things go. We have 2.7 million Canadian in terms of cash, so we're sort of comfortable for the time being. So we can deliver a lot more news flow from now till whenever we need to raise money next. So that's fantastic. And so the prospect for this year is looking really, really good. And what we really hope to achieve is basically three things. We need to explore from that 2.6 kilometers, like I mentioned, and spread that out, spread our wings along that 6-kilometer long trend defined by those gravity anomalies. There's also indications that there might be a parallel trend to the north of us and to the south of us, because we've already got hits there that seem to be part of a separate system. So we want to explore that a little bit. Plus, really interesting from a copper and silver perspective, there is a horizon which is known to be very prospective for copper silver, about 100 meters below our discovery horizon. So we just haven't been drilling that far down, but I think 1 or 2 holes this year, we're probably going to punch to our discovery area and then drive on for another 100 meters down to the lower limestone shale, as it's called. And that is known to host 3 copper silver deposits in the Limerick area. One of which was actually mined in the 60s. So we know we're getting very strong copper silver numbers. The best silver kick ever in Ireland in the last 60 years was on our ground, 1,400 grams per ton. And along with that, we're getting 6% copper along the feeder structure. That feeder structure is tapping something down below. Very, very good chance that lower limestone shale is mineralized. So we're going to be testing for that this year as well.
Story just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better.
Hopefully.
Yeah, no doubt. So a lot to look forward to. I'm happy we met, and I look forward to expanding this story for those people who want to follow it, because as I say, this has been under everybody's radar. If they want to put the blips on the radar for people, how do they follow you as the work you're doing now?
Yeah, so look, ZNG is our ticker on the TSX. We also have a ticker on the OTC. We are on Twitter. We're quite active on Twitter, on X, and LinkedIn. So you can follow me, and obviously just look at the Group 11 Resources website and have all the information, including my phone number. So anyone can feel free to give me a call if you like, or just ping me an email.
Outstanding. I appreciate the time today for the update, and I look forward to hearing the news of the stuff underneath at the lower level as well as along these trends. So exciting times for the company.
Great stuff. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
The Prospector News Podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.